Well, I caved. Today's the day. It's been a summer celebrating the 50th anniversary of Jaws, but finally now, on August 29th, as of this recording, this is the day that Jaws is officially back in theaters for its 50th anniversary, and in a few hours, I'm going to get to go see it for myself on the big screen. Never seen it with an audience. Never seen it in a theater. I've only experienced Jaws at home, so I have been very excited, to put it mildly. I've been kind of obsessing about this day. So, as you can see, and if you've been following these videos, you know it's been a very Jaws summer for me. I did a whole video on this sipper guy that I collected for the 50th, a whole video on this bucket that I got for the 50th, as well as this weird wine cooler that I still have not opened. This is just the 4K. I put it out there because it looks so cool. It's got that cool lenticular cover with Bruce there biting the title. But there was one piece missing from what you see here, at least for me. I know a lot of collectors went for the Bruce head that I believe was an Alamo Drafthouse exclusive. I didn't want that. I don't know why. That just didn't read as Jaws to me. I think I need to see the title Jaws. I can't just see a shark. I think with Shark Week and the Meg and all these different sharks that are in our culture, for me, when I see Jaws, I need to see the word Jaws, or I need to see some other iconography. So the Bruce head alone wasn't really doing it for me. But there was one Jaws 50 item that I had my eye on all summer, especially if you've been following these videos. You know I've been looking for it. It's the barrel sipper. Now, it's a Regal exclusive. I don't have any Regal theaters near me. I was hoping that people I knew who watch this channel would find it at their local Regals, maybe give me a heads up, do me a solid. That never happened. So I caved. And I went to eBay. I finally got it. My Jaws 50 haul is now, for me, complete. We're going to need a bigger table, to paraphrase Brody. This is it, man. The Jaws 50 barrel. It's a thing of beauty, as my friend said. I am going to do some nice cutaways of it so we can really take a good look at it, get all those cool, juicy details. But I just wanted to show it with the rest of my Jaws haul because it's dramatic and it looks cool. Also, it's like, hey, look at this. Yes, here it is. I can't think of a better way to celebrate the 50th, to basically bring it all home, to see the movie on the big screen today and have this guy with me. So, let's check him out up close. This little guy at the bottom is just a fun little 3D standee. He does not come with the barrel. I propped him up there. He's just kind of like a nice little display for the Jaws 50 barrel sipper. So this is what she looks like. It's actually a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. If you compare it to this other Jaws 50 sipper, which is kind of just like a big cup, right? Look at how thick that is compared to that. Like, this thing is big. For some reason, I thought it was going to be, like, the size of, like, those mini Coke cans or something. You know, like the 10 ounces, whatever those are. But this guy is big. I wanted to show it to you next to this guy for scale. So you can see all the detailing. There's the Jaws 50 logo right there. And yes, that dirt and distressing is on purpose. That's not a defect. That is design. It's supposed to look like the cruddy barrels that are on Quint's ship, the Orca. Quint's boat. It's a ship. Quint's boat, the Orca. These are the barrels they use to help track Bruce in the water at the end of the movie. And it was actually, I never get tired of talking about this, it was actually a great device for suspense that Spielberg used because the shark was so infamously difficult to work with, and the robotics weren't working, and the shark was always broken. They needed another way to hype the audience up for suspense, to show you that Bruce the shark was moving. And the idea was to use these barrels floating along the water, right? The idea that Jaws grabs them underneath the water, they're skimming the water around. That gives you an idea where the shark is. Amazing. So here's the barrel. Dirt is on purpose. I love this little guy at the top. Not where the straw goes. Straw actually goes here in the back. This is just a fun little rattly sound effect. Isn't that great? So there we go, the Jaws 50. As you can see on the back, similar to the back of the other sipper, the famous line from Brody. Common misconception that people have. They think the line is, we're going to need a bigger boat. That's not what Brody says. Brody's on the Orca. He turns and he says, you're going to need a bigger boat. And they have his famous line here. Again, I wanted to compare. So you've got the two sippers. You're going to need a bigger boat here on the back of the barrel sipper. Also written here in that raised 3D font, you're going to need a bigger boat. There you go. Anything on the bottom? No. So there are some fun, distressing, possible bite marks, possible just dragging marks you can see detailing in the side of the sipper. Got some there. Got a couple more there. There we go. You can really see them there. Yeah. All right, let's have some more glamour shots of this thing. This thing is nice, sturdy, like I said, big, much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I guess it has to be if you're going to actually fill it with soda, which I will never do. No fluid will find its way inside of this thing. I did think about maybe trying to bring it with me to the screening today, but I don't know if my local Cinemark will appreciate me bringing another theater's exclusive in, so I'm not going to chance it. So, like I said, I did snag it on eBay. I paid, I want to say this retails for somewhere around $25-30. It's, funny enough, priced higher than this sipper, which was in the $22-23 range. It's eBay. They upsold me. I paid double that. I paid nearly $55 to get this here because I really wanted it. I wasn't finding it. And you know what? I didn't mind in this case. Like, I think say what you will about eBay and resellers and stuff. It's a ripoff. They're scalpers. In some cases, I would be inclined to agree with you. But to me, I was paying for the convenience. It was inconvenient for me to find this item in the wild. In fact, it was impossible. So it was worth it to me as a fan to pay the extra 20-something bucks to pay someone else to source it for me and ship it here safely. So yeah, was it a little pricey? Yeah, but you know what? I actually don't mind. I paid for a service and I got a service. Best of all, I got my sipper. All right, I'm off to the movies to see Jaws 50 on the big screen with my fellow fans. Cannot wait. I'm hoping it's an amazing time. I'm hoping, you know what? I'm one of these people that when there's like specialty screenings like this, or revival screenings they call them, I'm hoping that there's people that are quoting the movie. I'm hoping there are people in cosplay. That stuff is great to me. It's fun and it adds to the atmosphere. I have no idea if any of that is going to be present at my screening today. Who knows, man? It could be totally quiet. It could just be me in the theater. Whatever it is, whoever it is, I'm going to be excited. And stay tuned because I'm going to give you my reaction and maybe mini review to seeing Jaws 50 after I get out of the theater. Wow. I just got out of seeing Jaws on the big screen for the first time, and it was amazing. I mean, this is like to be. There are like movies, and then there are like movies that are watchable that no matter when you see them, they like suck you in. Like you just sit down, even if you were in the middle of something else, if it's on, it just locks you in. It stops you like a person in a trance. And that's Jaws to me. I feel like Jaws, Ghostbusters, and Die Hard are like the three movies that I can think of that are like the most watchable movies. They'll pull you in no matter what you're doing. That's what that's what you're doing for the rest of the afternoon is what I mean. So it was amazing. I just fell right into the movie. And to me, it's so funny. I mean, I've seen this movie a lot of times, but I always notice new little details, or I'll really zero in on something that maybe seems very small in a scene, and now it really shines. Like little character moments. I love that bit between Brody and his son when the son's imitating him at the dinner table. That felt so big here. Bruce the shark looked amazing. Man, when he hit the back of the orca and his jaws came open, whew, my heart like nearly left out of my chest. All the jump scare moments in the movie like made me jump out of my skin. Like finding Ben Gardner in the boat, the whole thing when Matt goes down in the shark cage. Man, I was like, I might have made noises. I might have been like, oh! So yeah, no cosplayers, no fun trivia, quote-alongs, nothing. It was actually kind of amazing because for all intents and purposes, it felt like I had the movie to myself. Like I was like some rich guy who had his own movie theater. Like the other guy just kind of like faded away. Watching it on the big screen was definitely, it was different than what I'm used to. The screen was so huge at points where you're on the orca, it felt like you could feel the motion of the ocean, like in a good way. It just added to the experience. Like you were really immersed. I felt like I was on the boat with those guys. I don't know for my film people if this was like a restoration or anything. It certainly didn't look that way to me because it was very grainy. Usually when you have a nice, big, flashy 4K restoration on the big screen, it looks very sharp and crisp. This did not. Jaws is a 50-year-old movie. It's a grainy movie from the 70s. I like my film grain. To me, this is a plus. So I actually loved the presentation, and I thought it just looked incredible. That's why I was kind of confused, though, because some of the darker scenes at night, like when they go to find Ben Gardner's boat, or just when they're like out on the orca and they're telling each other the stories of the scars, it was really grainy. And again, I like that, but I was like, I wonder, because I know they had done a big cleanup on the movie a couple years ago for 4K, and some of that stuff isn't visible, at least not in the 4K I have. So I'm wondering if this was an older print or an older version of the movie, DCP they call it, digital cinema package. I don't know. Usually digital cinema packages are very like glossy and kind of cleaned up. Because at times it felt like we were watching like an old film print of Jaws. And again, that's not for everybody. Some people like that look, some people don't. I happen to like it a lot, so it was right up my alley. What I do think got a big boost was sound. I have never heard Jaws like this. When you were on the boat, you could hear every little clang, and the boat settling on the orca, you could hear things kind of whooshing and washing against the side of the... Had not heard any of that stuff before. Likewise, on the beach scenes, you could hear chatter from the beachgoers, from the swimmers. Never heard that before. It was awesome. Look, I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. There's a reason that this is considered a masterpiece. It's one of the best movies ever made, and in my opinion, it might be a contender for best movie ever made. This is just, it's got everything. Heart, adventure, scares, high-speed thrills. Man, it just feels epic in every sense of the word. If you have a chance, definitely get out to see Jaws for the 50th anniversary. Get out to your local movie theater. Go see this thing big. If you have an IMAX, go IMAX. If you're like me and you have a Cinemark, go XD. That's your large format option. I did not do 3D. Should be said, I do think there are some 3D shows available. I went 2D, large format. That's my preferred. I don't like 3D. Although I have heard that there is an amazing 3D version of not Jaws 3D, not Jaws 3, of this original Jaws, that they did a 3D conversion of it a few years ago, and sometimes that plays, and people love that one. I'm not a 3D fan, so I can't speak to that. The version we saw today, 2D, XD, lovely. Whew, it's a hot one where I am, so I am going to go home and pour some cold drink into my sipper cup. Yeah, right, I would never do that. I'm going to pour that into a regular glass while I admire my dry sipper cup with nothing in it and drink my cold beverage as I reminisce upon Jaws. It was amazing. It really was. Seriously, get out to see it. If you like what you see and you want more, please like and subscribe to my channel. Also, consider following me here on Instagram. I do some fun stuff there occasionally. That's it for me. The summer of Jaws. Remember, amity means friendship. I hope you guys have a jawsome holiday weekend. Get out and see Jaws.